So let's begin. Yesterday we were focusing on mostly on working directory, staging area, and local repository, right? This is what we were looking at. This is the architecture we were concentrating, and we were using these commands, add, comment, and trying to understand this local setup of our Git. This is what we did yesterday. And in this process, we have gone through certain commands, right? Let me have a quick recap of what we did. I'll go from the beginning. We installed Git, right? After installing it, we have initialized Git, right? Using the command git init. This will initialize Git. This will start Git. And then add the files, right? Which were in the, like, create a file. Once we created the file, it will be in the working directory. And then commit the file. Like commit the changes, git add, git commit, and whenever you create a file, it would be in the working directory. When you add it, it goes into the staging area. When you commit, it goes into the local repository. This is the concept we focused yesterday, correct? And in this process, we have learned simple git commands, git ls files, which will list the files both in the, like, in the staging area and the local repository. Simple Linux commands like from CLI, ls, and those we have seen. And then we have discussed about git diff command. Git diff file name. Do you remember what this command gives us? What is this command for? Git diff file name. What it does?
Is it checking the original and the updated one?
Git diff file name will show the unstaged changes of the file, right? Like, let's say you have modified the file and then later on you want to see the unstaged changes of the file. That's where this comes in, correct?
Yes.
So this will show the unstaged. We have seen this with a use case. I'm not sure how many of you have done the hands-on. May I know how many of you have completed the hands-on we did yesterday? Anyone? Is it no one have done the hands-on?
I've completed, Preeti.
Not completed.
I
It
also
started.
completed. Okay, there were mixed responses, but yeah, please do the hands-on. It's very important to do the hands-on. Just listening will not work because, see, it's like a mathematics. We know, right? Only when you do the hands-on, you get grip over it. Just listening, yes, you will know what is what. But when you do the hands-on, that's where you gain expertise over the subject, which is very important. You have to get ready get ready for the market. We don't know when the market blooms again and when we get the calls. As of now, DevOps is still good when compared with other technologies and other opportunities, and it would be becoming more brighter as we progress. But you should be get ready to grab the opportunity. So do the hands-on, utilize the time, and the hands-on is mandatory. You have to allocate some time for that. So whoever have not yet started, now let's get started. Jump in now and do the Git setup. It's very simple and go through the hands-on. So this is the scenario we were talking about to see the unstaged changes. And then to see the staged changes means you might have made some changes and then you might have added it. So git diff staged flag and the file name will give you the staged changes of the file. Right? So sometimes some lines, let's say you may have some lines of code or lines of script or lines of config, whatever be the content. So some lines you might have written there and added it to staging area. They will be staged. Again, later on, you might have added few more lines, but they were unstaged, right? At that point, when you see the status, this file would be shown under both working directory, staging area, and local repository. This is what we have done yesterday. I have explained this, but if you have completed the hands-on, sorry, you will get a complete visibility there. Whoever haven't, after this session, please try to start your hands-on. All right. So today, let's begin with another interesting part. Like first, we have created the files, right? Then we learn modifying the file, isn't it? It's not always you create the files, you may have to modify the existing files, which we have seen, and that's where we have used diff command to see unstaged changes, diff staged command to see the staged changes. Now let's talk about deleting the file as well. Like I said, Git works with respect to changes. Change could be creating a file, change could be deleting a file, or it could be modifying the file. Any change works with the same way. Like first, your changes will be in a working directory. You have to add them and you have to commit them. So let's talk about deleting now. Right. So coming back, we were executing all of that from my terminal. If you are using Mac, you might be using your terminal, right? Or if you are using Windows, you might be using your Git bash, right? Like after installing Git, you go to the start menu and launch Git bash. It's like again, like an interface where you can run some Git commands. So that's how you do. Now let's say, so I'm using this CLI and I'm using my terminal. I'm seeing the files like this and I'm editing it by opening the file from the GUI, or else you can do the edit from CLI as well. The most convenient and the better way is to use much more better editors we have in the market. What is an editor? What is the editors you are using as of now to modify your files? Can you list the editors you are using? Random editors you are using as of now.
I use TFS and I use Notepad plus plus Notepad.
Okay, Notepad plus plus, Notepad, and
And then Visual Editor.
okay, let us keep this aside. Any other editors? Anyone using? Maybe if you are a Linux guy, you might be using your Vim editor, VI editor, or Nano editor. I'm removing them because I did not cover them. We'll come to that. So you might be using some Notepad plus plus or Notepad, right, to create these files or edit the files. If it is a Mac, you might be using some notes, whatever it is, right? This is how we are editing. But we have a better, please keep muted everyone to avoid backgrounds. Any questions, unmute and speak out. Otherwise, please keep muted. So these are the editors we have, but they were very much better editors which are helpful in real time. One such is VS Code editor, IntelliJ, right? All of them are very much helpful. They are not only used by developers, even DevOps team can use it. Like I mentioned, we'll be having some configuration files, manifest files and all. So yes, we can use VS Code editor. This is very much helpful to manage any type of file, even the text files. And also when you are version controlling them with Git, this VS Code editor comes with some add-ons which can help you see your branches, see your code, see your files better, right? So let us see this VS Code editor. So where is this VS Code editor? How can we download it? Let's do the editing also in a professional way. So that's the reason we'll download this. Give me a second. So just go to Google and say download VS Code editor. It helps you in many ways. So see here, it works for Windows, Linux, Mac. You can download this if you have Windows and just launch it. Same is the case with the Mac. It's just downloading the exe. I mean, it will download and you have to just extract it and open it. And once you do that, this is how the interface looks like, VS Code. It's nothing but an editor. As of now, just to understand, you are using Notepad, right? So this is a similar editor like that, like Notepad++, Notepad or Word document. This is another such editor. Here, what you can do, go to File, open the folder, whatever you want. I want to manage this Git, right? So Git demo. See, you will see all the files here. A better view of your files. It will help you in a better working with your folders and files. Right? Are we good? Any confusions with the editor?
So we need to install the editor, or it's just opening. I missed that one. Sorry.
You have to download that zip file will be downloaded, extract it, and you can launch it. When you extract it, you will see the icon as a VS Code editor. You can just launch it.
Okay.
And also, like, if you still have questions on how to install it, you have the steps in our drive here in the Git VS Code download. So here you have the URL, and ignore this one. This is for later. There's nothing to install it much. Just the URL is also here. You can download and use it. Right? Any help needed, let us know. So like we have the Explorer, the files and files seen here, right? You can also launch, if you go and click on new terminal, you will also see that you don't need to go to another terminal window like this. Am I making sense? VS Code editor comes with the terminal here itself, so that in the one interface, we can see all. Like here, you can run the commands, whatever we were executing some time back. You may run ls, you can do anything, you can open the files here. Are we good? Any confusions here in the using the VS Code editor? You can feel free to respond. This is just an editor, a good interface where you can see your files as well as in terminal at one place. All right then. So let's get started. So before we go into the new topic, let me just create one more file to just go through the flow. A quick recap. So I'm just creating a file. Earlier we just used to go to the UI and create, right? Here you can create this way. Click on this file3.txt. Okay. I'm just writing some line. See here, U indicates. Can you tell me where is the file?
Unstaged.
Unstaged, right? It's in the working date, actually untracked, because it's a new file, right? When you keep the cursor, it will also show you. This is another advantage of using VS Code editor, right? So what we should do? Untracked file. You may check
Git
here
add.
also. See untracked. So what you should do? Git add file3. Now do you see it got changed? If you keep the cursor, it will show you index added. Also, if you want, you run the command status. It says changes to be committed. What should we do now?
Git commit.
Git commit.
Commit -m some message like third file. See, now it's clean. It will not show anything here now. So that's the advantage of another advantage of VS Code editor. Like you can see the status in a better way, and it will give you a good interface and convenient to manage your files and the terminal at the same time. Right. Now we have seen creating file. Now let's talk about deleting a file. I would like to delete the file. So how do you do that? Means I want to delete the file from the local repository. So git rm file name. That's all. I'm trying to delete file3. Done. Right. See here on the left hand side, you don't see file3. Just check the status. Always, like we discussed, changes to be committed. It's asking to commit the changes. Okay, fine. Git commit -am I'm adding and committing. And let's say, okay, deleted the file, some commit message. Right? Now, if you see, file is no more. You don't see the file. And if you see the status, it's clean. Perfect. So this is how you delete the files. Right? Now the file is not there in the working directory as well as in the local repository. Correct? Now, let's assume there could be another use case. I want to remove the file only from the local repository, but not from the working directory. I'll repeat. I want to delete the file only from my local repository, but not from the working directory. What does it mean? Meaning, you can see the files like this, right? ls files. So these two are there in the local repository. Maybe let's assume this file 2 is some draft or else a notes which I have taken for my project, right? Or else some log file or else some unwanted file. Okay, I just want to delete it from the local repository, but I still want to keep it in my working directory because it's a notes, project notes I have taken. I need it for my reference, right? So I just want to delete it only from local repository. How to do that? Git rm cached file name, right? This command will delete the file from the local repository, but it will keep it in the working directory. Let me show you. See, file is gone, right? And if you see the status, it will tell you changes to be committed. You made some change, right? So git commit -m, let's say deleted from local repository. Done. Now, if you see the status, why is it still showing us untracked file 2? File 2 is still there. Okay, you can very clearly see ls, or else here itself you can see file is there in my directory, git ls files. See, it's not there in the local repository. Understood? But okay, fine, it's not there in the local repository, it's there in your directory. But why is this message? Why are we seeing this message? What does it mean?
Because it is in working directory.
Because it's in the working directory, because the whole concept is this particular folder, git demo, is the local repository, right? We did git init. Do you remember? Yesterday we did git init in this folder. Git init here means it will initialize Git. It will start Git. Means Git is tracking all the files and folders in this. Sorry, all the files. Yeah, of course, all the files and folders, everything present in this Git demo. Correct? You did Git init means Git started tracking whatever present in this folder. So you have this file, but you removed it from local repository. It is like again like a new file. It will be keep on prompting us to add and commit because Git is tracking it. Is this clear, everyone? Am I making sense?
Yes,
I want to
Preeti.
see and hear from every one of you. Like I want to have responses from everyone. Please be attentive and let's have interactive sessions. Any questions, any confusions, you can feel free to express. So it's like a new file, right? So like in the beginning, whenever you create a file, it keep on tracking, it's saying it's untracked. Please add it and commit, right? But let's say, okay, I don't want to commit this. That's for reference. That's a notes I have taken for my project. I don't want to put it in the local repository and later on push to remote and share it with others. I don't want. But I want to keep it in the directory. If I keep it in the directory, it will keep on tracking it. Now I want to tell Git not to track this file. Means I want to request Git, please don't track this file. So how do you tell Git not to track certain files, or how do you exclude some files from tracking? Is there any way? And first thing, like, okay, first thing, how to exclude certain files from tracking. And second thing, why do you need it? Why you should do this? One simple scenario, like I have told, is the same. Like there might be some notes, some documentation which need not be version controlled. Another real use case is there might be some log files generated which you don't know to version control. Or there might be some executables which you don't want to version control. Or else, in DevOps perspective, we are going to implement and see the real use case of it. Particularly in Terraform, there will be something called state files. We did not learn Terraform. When we learn Terraform, again, I would refer to this concept. So just giving you a heads up. In Terraform, there will be something called state files where the sensitive data will be present, which you should not version control and share it on the remote repositories. These should not be version controlled. And also in Ansible, there might be some data, some credentials stored, which need not be version controlled, like passwords and all, right? So how do you exclude certain files where you have sensitive data, or else the log files which you don't want to version control, or binaries, executables which you don't want to version control? This is the real use case. Like if you have any queries, have you used Git ignore? Where did you use? These are some of the examples. Of course, we will see them when we create our Terraform projects and Ansible, right? So coming back now, you know now why do you need it? So how to do that? How can you tell Git not to version control certain files? That's where comes a concept called .git ignore, right? So create a file called .git ignore. .git ignore, right? So create a file called .git ignore, put the file names, whichever means it's again another file .git ignore, it's a Git object. So you have to put the file names, whichever you don't want to version control. Like I don't want to version control file2.txt, or else you may have bunch of files, right, which you don't want to version control. All of them ends with the .log. You can also do that. For handling multiple files, you can use wild characters like star.log. I don't want to version control any file with extension .log. Right, like that you can do, but we don't have .log, only this. Save it. As soon as you save it, do you see the difference? Earlier it was untracked, but now, do you see it was grayed out? Can you all see the difference? This was grayed out. Also, if you see the status now, see it's no more bothered about file2. Right? Earlier it was checking, saying that, okay, file2 is being untracked, please add and commit. But now it's not bothered about it.
But it is showing the same like a git ignore file to be added.
Come again, please. Sorry.
No, for the git ignore, it says that the git ignore is untracked.
We should add it. So that's why I'm coming there. So it was not bothering about file2. But .git ignore is after all another file. Yes, you have to add and commit that. Git add .git ignore. Okay. Now if you see the status, yes, changes to be committed. See here also you can keep the cursor, you see index added. Now git commit -m ignore file added. Right? Are we good? Yeah. So this file is there in the working directory. See, I can see the file too. I can use it, but it's not being tracked by Git due to this .git ignore. This is the concept of Git ignore. Git ignore is like after all another file. You have to commit, you have to push to remote so that this file will not be tracked by Git. Means whatever files you don't want, those will not be tracked by Git. Are we clear with the concept of Git ignore? And this is the practical usage of Git ignore. Sensitive files.
But a git ignore file will be there in the remote.
Yes. Git ignore file will be there. It will have the file names, whichever it's ignored. Yes. File name will be there, but not the content of those files. So yes. So that's about Git.
So every time when we add any of the files in the git .git ignore, we will have to do the git add or git commit.
Obviously, like any file, whenever you make modification, you add and commit, right? Same is the case. Like that's what it's just like another file.
Correct.
Right. Now we have, let's see the commit history. Git log one line. We have bunch of commits. Right? Whenever you make a commit, you have a commit ID and the commit message seen there, which is good. Now let's talk about another interesting concept called revert. What is meant by revert and why do you need it? Let's talk about revert. Any commit ID can be reverted. What is meant by revert? The simple meaning is undo. What is meant by undo? What is the dictionary meaning of undo? Generally, we use
Reverse
undo.
the changes.
Yeah, come again.
It's like reverse.
Reversing, right? Means let's say you have deleted a file. Undo means file will be back. It would be created, isn't it? Or else, let's say you created the file. Undo means file will be gone. Like it will reverse your actions, right? Same is the case with the revert. Meaning, let's suppose, in any particular commit, like let's say this commit, in this commit I have created ignore file. If you revert it, what happens? You can revert any commit ID. So whatever changes happened in this commit ID will be reversed. Means, let me take an example. There is a commit ID called A. In this commit ID, let's say I have created a file. I can't write that alphanumeric ID, so I'm just referring it as A. Suppose you created a file. You have reverted it. Whenever you revert, listen this is important. It will create a new commit ID. And yes, in this commit ID, like you will see the file is deleted. Right, there is a commit ID, you have reverted it, and in this commit ID you have created it. When you reverted it, new ID will be created and the file is gone. It's a revert, right? Let's suppose, okay, file is gone now. I want to get the file, get the changes back again. You can revert this B again. Another commit ID will be generated, which is called C. In this commit ID, you will have the file back again. Agree with this or not?
Yeah.
Right? It's just simple logical. There is some commit, you have, there is a file created in that, you have reverted, means file is gone. Again, you have reverted this B. C, another commit ID is created, file is back. You can repeat it any number of times. And at this point, C, it would be same as A. Correct? Same state. File is created, file is back. Correct? Simple logic. So these are the different commit IDs. Means you can say you can revert the revert. This is actually revert ID or commit ID, whatever you call it. This is revert ID. You are reverting this revert again. This is also revert. Or else just simply understand you can revert any commit ID. That is also fine. Right? Shall we go for the hands-on?
Yes.
Let's get to the hands-on for better clarity. We'll refer to this diagram with the hands-on. Now I will revert git revert this particular 9B. Copy it, add it. Same like git revert A. I'm reverting this commit A. In commit A, ignore file is created. I'll revert. I told you, right? Revert is like commit. Means it will ask for revert message. So this is the editor which opens to edit the file. How to edit this file? Escape I. At the bottom, it goes into insert mode. Now type in whatever comment you want to leave. Reverting ignore file, something like this. You add your comment after going into escape mode. Insert mode. Again escape. Colon WQ exclamation. That's how you save this file. Done. It says it is reverted. Just first see the log. Like I mentioned, you see new commit ID is generated. If you want to refer to this diagram, this is like a commit A. You reverted it. This is commit B. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I hear from everyone? So 9B, 5A is like commit A. I reverted it. B is generated. But now let's see the functionality. In A, we have ignore file. Do you see left-hand side file is gone? Ignore file is gone. Ignore file is gone means file 2 is tracked again. See, you keep the cursor, file 2 is being tracked again. Understood the revert? Now let's say I want to revert this again. This C1B7 means I want to revert this B because I want my ignore file back. Git revert, copy this commit ID. Again, it will ask for a message. How to go to insert mode?
You have to press I.
Escape I.
See, this is a simple VI editor. Okay, we will learn it separately. But you still need help. You can visit here. In this drive, you will get access. It's actually a Linux concept. Edit the file with VI editor, right? Here you can see edit the file escape I, like what you do, how do you save it? See, how do you save it with the WQ exclamatory? Hit escape key to go to the command mode and insert mode. Everything were here. You can follow it with simple practice. You will understand how to do it. Escape I. Escape I. You go to insert mode. Now just type in whatever message you want. Reverting again for ignore file. You give the message of your choice. Again, click on escape. You will not see insert. Now, colon WQ exclamatory. Means it will save and close that. So done. Check the log. Now you can see here. Another commit ID is generated. You see that? It is like this is commit A. This is commit B. Commit ID or revert ID, whatever you call it. This is making sense. Initially, I took this 9B5A, I reverted it, new ID C1B generated. Again, I reverted it, 72C0 generated. Means it should be same as file is back. Yes, do you see ignore file is back? And if you see the status, they are being tracked. I mean, file 2 is not tracked anymore. It's all as expected. Understood the scenario? Any questions? Louder, please. Anyone speaking? Ritesh, I know like you are speaking, but you are not audible. Like voice is very low. It's feeble. Check your audio or else type your query. Your voice is very feeble. Can't hear you.
Yeah, hi Priti.
Yeah, hi.
Currently in my project, when I am dealing with the Git, I'm doing all the commit and stage unstaged actions via right click Git and Git commit. So is that a good practice too, or?
Means you are using GUI to execute any operation. That's a Git GUI, right? So
Yes,
the best practice is to learn the CLI. If you use GUI, you will never learn the concepts behind. You are using that GUI. Do you know all the concepts, all the commands you are using? What is happening in the backend?
No.
That's that point. When you use GUI, you just know the operations, drag and drop or click and perform the task. But if you use CLI, you know what is happening in the backend. So always CLI is preferred. You will not have GUI available always. If you know CLI, switching to GUI is very simple. CLI is the preferred approach.
Okay.
And Ritesh says file ID will change. You mean this is the file, this is the commit ID, Ritesh. ID will change means always whenever you revert, new commit ID will be generated. These are the new commit IDs, not the relevant to file. Meaning in the same commit, it could be multiple files also. Means in the same commit, you might be managing multiple files or one file. It could be anything. Commit is not specific to single file. It's specific to change. Dot change could be related to one file or multiple files.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
Right? So just remember, revert is to undo your changes, means whenever you revert any commit, whatever changes happened in that commit will be reversed, will be undo, and a new commit ID will be generated. If you want to get it back, you can use that ID and get your changes back again. That is about revert, the very widely used regular command which we use in our day in and day out for our managing our files. So that's about the revert. There is another command similar to revert. So can I proceed? Okay. So let me go to something called reset. What is this reset? Let's suppose I want to discard a bunch of commits. Like I want to discard a successive commits. And by the way, you see this is called commit history, right? The topmost commit. This is the topmost commit of this, of the commit history, right? This is called head, or else there is something called head pointer in Git. See, this is a head. So always head points to the topmost commit. Let's suppose, okay, you are working in this repository and you realize that, okay, you don't need first 4 commits. You don't need them at all. Maybe client requirement have changed completely. You don't want these anymore. Means I want to discard these commits from the commit history, as well as whatever changes happened during this commits should be wiped off. That's where reset comes in. Means it will discard the commits from the commit history, as well as it will undo, like revert. Whatever changes happened during those commits will be undo. You can reset any number of commit IDs, means successive commit IDs, of course, like successive 4 or successive 3 or successive 5 kind of from top. The latest successive commit IDs can be discarded. Let me put it here. Latest successive commit IDs can be discarded. Right? So how to do that? Let's see. Let's suppose I'll start with 2. Let's say I don't want top 2 commit IDs. Okay. Git reset hard head tilde 2. Tilde 2 means top 2 commit IDs will be wiped off from the commit history. They'll be removed from this log, as well as whatever changes happen during those commits will be gone. Right? And when these 2 are gone, this becomes the topmost commit ID and head points to this. So the command is git reset hard head tilde 2. Let's run this. See here, head is now at 9B5A. 9B5A is this one. So if you see the log, yes, this became the topmost commit ID. These 2 are discarded, wiped off, as well as changes happen here or gone. It doesn't make any difference because it's just we reverted and brought it back. So functionality wise, like, because it depends. We did not do anything here, so it doesn't make difference. This is how you discard them. Let's say I want to discard top 3, head 3, head 4, whatever. Or else there is another way. Let's say I want to discard these 3. You can say head 3, or else reset hard. You can just put this. Right? Means this becomes the head pointer, right? So git reset hard this one. Can I run the command? Is it clear what happens? Both are same. Head tilde 3 or the commit ID which becomes the, which head points to after discarding them. Both are same. Either ways you can do head tilde 3 or the commit ID. So now if you see head is at 9123, you can see the log. Yes. Now you see the difference. Can you see that all the changes that happened that went, you can see here. Right? This is ignore file. This is the file. Are we good? This is about reset. Tell me.
If you want revert to that reset one, is it
Not
possible?
possible. Not possible. That is the difference between revert and reset.
So Preeti, it's like we can revert the revert, but in reset, so
You
once it's
can't.
gone, it's gone.
Yes, gone
It's
forever.
just like factory reset kind of thing in mobile.
Yes. Here, no new commit ID is generated. Means that is dangerous because whenever you reset, if a new commit ID is generated, means you can use it and revert. But that's not happening. Here, whenever you revert, new commit ID is generated so that you can revert that and get the changes back. Right? Am I making sense? So you can get the changes back. Always you can recover the changes. Cannot recover. Changes gone are gone forever. That's why reset is called destructive and powerful command. You should be very careful using it. Whereas revert is the regular command which you can use to manage your files. So it's very obvious. We use revert regularly, not reset. But let's say, okay, you are working from past 1 week and you realize that, okay, this is not the client requirement completely changed. You are pretty sure that you don't want to maintain this unnecessary changes in the log. You just want to get rid of it, wipe off from the log history. Then you may do reset, but not revert. Also, this reset is for local branches. We did not learn the concept of branching yet. We will come to it, but just understand for local repo. You did not push it, the repo, or share it with anyone till now. Do you remember, by the way, I would like to remind you one thing. By the way, we were still on local repos. We did not go to remote yet. Correct? We did not go to remote yet. We were still on local. Before going to remote, there are many things to learn. That's what we were doing. Once we are thorough with the local part, we will push our code to remote.
Reset will delete the file also, right? Including history and all the things.
Reset will
Delete the
revert.
files or delete the file also, right? Files.
That's what, let me complete. Reset will discard these commits and also undo these commits. Undo these commits means whatever happened in these commits will be reversed. Let's suppose in this 9b5a you have created the file, right?
Yeah.
Means when you reset, right, you are just removing it. Means the file would be back, kind of. Means what? Suppose you have created the file, that would be gone, isn't it? Because that's a commit, you are removing it. You are kind of reverting it. So whatever changes happen during this commits will also be discarded. Let's say you created a file during this commit and committed the file, means yes, your file will be gone.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what, see here. This is what you have to note. It will discard not only from the commit history, it will also undo the changes in those commits. And you can reset latest successive commit IDs. Any number, 2, 3, or 4, whatever.
Okay, sure.
Here we are using hard. Is there any other parameter like soft kind of thing?
Yes, I'll come to that. So is the reset part clear for everyone? Still any questions, confusions? Are you all with me following? I'll take it as no queries.
Yes.
Thanks for confirming. So now this is the reset, right? Again, there are different types of resets, like soft reset, hard reset. I mean, hard reset we have seen, soft reset and mixed reset. This is far advanced concept and there'll be a lot of confusion over this topic. We don't use this so often, but I will just give you a chart which will help you understand different resets very easily. So that even though you don't use it at any later point of time, at any point, if you see anything regarding this reset, this chart will help you understand the concept easily. You don't need to do the hands-on, just understand this, because this chart simplifies the things without which you would struggle a lot to understand this. So let me just put it here. Let's say, okay, let me put one more. Okay. So we have different resets. Hard reset. Instead of hard, you have to put soft and mixed. Just the flag changes. And how is that different? It's different with respect to how it works at the backend. Right? Whenever you do hard reset, your changes will be discarded from everywhere. So you cannot get them back. That's why it's a destructive and powerful command. You should be very careful with it. Whereas soft reset will remove the changes from local repository, but changes are still there in staging area and working directory. If the changes are there in staging area, can you get them back to local?
Yeah, by committing.
That's all. You commit it, you get the changes back. That's a soft. Okay. Then mixed reset. The changes will be discarded from local repository, staging area, and the changes will be present in working directory. Can you get them back?
Yeah.
If changes are in working directory, how do you get them back?
Git add and
Git
git
add, then commit.
That's all. And commit. So, meaning, like we did reset hard, you can do other reset also. But like I said, very less use. This is to give you an idea, because if you come across, if you have to learn this by yourself, it would be very confusing. This chart simplifies it. See here, git reset hard. Yeah, instead of hard, you put the soft. And after reset, if you see the status, it would be showing like working tree is clean because it's wiped off from everywhere. Nothing is left in working directory or staging area. But if you do soft, and after soft, if you do status, right? Following, run the soft reset and check the status. What would be the status showing us after soft reset? Can anyone answer this question?
staged area.
It will
It's
give
to
a
be committed.
message like changes to be committed because your changes are in the staging area, right? Similarly, do the mixed reset. After mixed reset, if you run status, what would be the message it would show?
Untracked.
Untracked, because it's in the working directory but not present in the staging area and local repository, right? So try out this as an additional assignment for you. If you are interested, you try out. Otherwise, you can ignore it. This is an additional part, optional. If you try out, it's good. You can experiment the things. See, by the way, Git is a very interesting and very tricky tool. Like it's just about you manage the files, right? Maybe I may delete it and later on I may try to edit a new file, or else I may create a new file, leave it there and may go to some other thing. Like these are how different users manages their files, isn't it? So you may be having the scenario in your mind. Okay, what happens? I created a file, but I'll leave it. I'll edit the other one. Or else I made some edits here, some edits. What happens? Those things definitely you'll get so many queries. You have to try out. You have to experiment. Make your hands dirty. That's how you gain grip over Git, right? Those things definitely you have to experiment. Spend some time with it. Make your hands dirty. That's very much helpful. Same is the case here. Try out this one. See what happens. But don't go too weird with the weird scenarios at this point when you are learning. You can try out some simple scenarios. When you gain expertise, then try out some weird scenarios, kind of messing up the repos and all, you can try out. But initially, yeah, you can try out with simple scenarios. One such is this reset. Try out this from your end, right? So this is an additional assignment. You can do the hands-on with. Any questions on the reset part? So we have learned about RM cache, ignore, revert, and reset. Just let me give a recap of the things. We have seen git RM, right? Git RM cached and git ignore, git revert, and git reset. Again, different types of resets. So this is what we discussed today. And then after this reset, we have the next advanced concept as branching. Can I proceed? Any questions in this part? Okay, let me talk about this branching. See, whenever you run the status, git status, see, you will see something like on branch master. Till now, we didn't discuss about it, right? Because yeah, this is the time now to get into this concept. So what is this branch master? What is a branch? Why do we need branch? Let's try to understand this topic. Branching is very important concept in Git. It's a very much helpful and very much useful in the real projects. And Git has got a great branching features, like a great branching strategies it offers, which is making it so famous and so widely used. Why do you need this branching features? I mean, branching strategies and all we'll see. First, let us try to understand the concept of branch. Branch is nothing but you can imagine it like a virtual folder, virtual directory. Whenever you create a Git local repository, by default, there will be a branch created called master branch. Master branch is called the default branch or main branch, whatever you call it. Right? Whenever you create a repo, automatically a master branch is created, and whatever changes you made till now are set to be in the master branch. Isn't it? You do ls, like you see whatever status, everything, this is all happening on master. These files are present on master, ignored file is present or whatever. Everything is on master. Okay, perfect. So I told that, okay, let's imagine this is your master branch, like a folder. Okay, we have created some bunch of files here, like file 1, file 2, created. Okay, let's say I'm working for functional requirement 1. There is a requirement 1. Okay, I'm working for it. Client came up with another requirement 2. Okay, client came with new requirement. So, okay, we need to work on it. But both these requirements are related to the same file, means you have to modify the same file. It need not be developers. For DevOps also, you will have requirements like, yes, you have to modify the S3 configurations with the Terraform. You have to work with EKS cluster with Terraform. Those are all requirements where you have to make changes to your configurations, right? So just imagine it could be developer team or DevOps team, whatever. So you have multiple requirements, but the files are same. Okay, I'll make everything in the master. Let's suppose this functional requirement is to be released for this October month. And this requirement 2 is for November. Okay, you have to release them separately. Means you have to push, if anyone new to this release, let me tell you, okay, you have to push them to remote separately. Is it possible if you put them on the same folder, can you segregate the changes and push them separately? Or else, let me make it much more simple. After 1 month, can you differentiate the changes properly? Imagine the files could be so huge. Is it possible to manually differentiate which changes are for requirement 1, which are for requirement 2? Is it possible? Right?
No, Pratik.
So the changes goes messed up. You can't push them separately. Means in technical terms, you let's say you have different releases. How do you handle the different releases? Means you have to release something on October or something on November, right? So rather than doing this, why don't we have another branch? Branch means create a copy of master, and you can create a branch, let's say name it as some feature branch, because you have to develop some feature. So create a branch from master means you will get a copy from master. Now develop this requirement 2 here, develop requirement 1 here, and you can push this to October, you can push this. Means what's this branch doing? It's letting you have multiple releases. Right? These are the real concepts. Like branches help you to have multiple releases. You can manage multiple releases. You can maintain versions, means you don't want to mess up the previous version, create a new branch and work on it. Or else it will also help multiple developers working on it parallelly. Let's say, okay, developers or DevOps guy, whatever. Let's say I'm a DevOps person, DevOps engineer 1. Let's say D1. Okay, there is another person D2. I have to work on Terraform with EC2 configurations. This D2 has to work on S3 configurations. So rather than messing up, I will create my own branch from master. Create a copy from master and create it, do your work. This guy also will create a branch from master, continue his work. So we are working on parallel branches, right? So that our changes are separate. Let's say if it is working fine, okay, my changes, I'm ready, I want to put in back, then I can push those changes back here. Right? Later on, this guy will push the changes. Conflicts and all, how do you push, how do you merge? That's a different concept. But yes, it allows releases, versions, multiple developers can work on it. On different features means, let's say in simple feature development, or else, pardon for the typos. So for different feature development, or else let's say there are some bug fixes. Bugs are there, we need to immediately fix it and move it. So you can create a separate branch for bug fix, or else hot fixes, right? That's another use case. Or else main thing, if you want to maintain environments, means I want to separate environments, dev, test, prod kind of. Right? You may create a separate branch for each environment. In the beginning, day one, we were talking about it, right? Create a separate branch and separate CI/CD for them. So this will be deployed to dev environments. This will be deployed to test. This will be for prod. Only once dev is working fine, let's say, okay, dev branch is working fine, you could merge it and create a test branch. Once test is working fine, it could be merged to prod and so on. Right, we'll talk about the branching strategy later. Let's not get into like how you begin with the and merging, but just understand branching serves, it helps in having multiple releases, maintaining the versions, or like multiple developers can work on it. It will help in creating feature branches, bug fixes, or multiple environments. These are all the advantages of having a branch. Right? How do you create branch? We'll see, but just understand, okay, I have created a branch feature from master. It is a copy only till you make a branch. Once the branch is created, they work like two parallel entities. Meaning, yes, you have created a copy from master, so you get all the files and created this feature branch. From now onwards, let's say you made some changes on feature. They'll not be visible on master and vice versa. They work like two parallel entities. That's how developers, like multiple developers, can work parallelly on multiple features and all. Let me give an example in layman terms. Okay. So here, let me have some folder. Okay, I have created a folder here. Assume this is the master branch. Now, okay, this is created, right? So if I make, let's say I'll make some changes on this demo. Will it be visible on demo 2? Will it be available on demo 2?
No.
Yes.
No, it will not.
It will not. See, just this is one folder. If I make any files here, will it be automatically available now in demo 2?
No.
Right, obviously, no, you can't see anything automatically, right? Similarly, if I make some changes in demo 2, it would not be available on demo, correct? The same is the case. Let's say assume demo is master, this is some feature branch. Only it's a copy till you make the folder. Let's take this Git demo itself, okay? Already it's having some files. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just make a copy of it. Okay, here it is. So when I make a copy, yes, it exactly you have everything here, right? Simple logic. Let's say if I make some changes in demo 3, okay. Okay, I removed some file 3. Is it making change here? Simple, like we use these files and folders in our day-to-day life. It won't apply or it won't reflect automatically, right? They work like two parallel folders, two separate folders. That's the concept of branch. Imagine another example. Let's say I'm writing a story. In this Git demo is where I'm writing some story. I got an idea. Okay, why don't I have, means I got two climax. I want to give two climax, means two different climaxes to the same story. So instead of messing this Git demo folder, my story folder, I'll create another folder. 2 means here I'm going to end it with a happy climax. Here it's a sad climax. I have two versions of the same story, right? I may send both of them to the publisher. If they like both, they may publish them as two stories, or else if they don't like it, they may purge one and just maintain one. Correct? Am I making sense? Same is the case. Let's say I have two branches. Okay, let's suppose, okay, this demo 2 is like the feature is developed very good. I have tested it. It's doing well. Okay, I just want to keep this one, but not demo. So I may just copy this and put it back to the main folder and delete it. Or else let's say, okay, I want to maintain this for another environment, test environment. This is dev environment. Yes, I can do that. The whole point here is, again, yes, you have branches. They work like parallel entities. Later on, if you want to combine or if you want to integrate, yes, you can integrate changes from one branch to another. That's called merging and all. But whole point is you create the branch. If you want, you can merge changes from one branch to another later on, or else you can maintain them as separate branches. Or let's say, okay, you just created a branch like a draft purpose. You may delete it later, merge the changes to the main branch. Means branches could be permanent or temporary. Permanent means you want to maintain different environments, dev, test, prod. Yes, you may have separate branches and you maintain them throughout. Temporary means, okay, to test it out, I have created a feature branch. It came out well. Now I want to integrate, means copy all of them into the original master branch. That could be the use case. Later on, delete this feature branch. There are both the scenarios. Means we have both the use cases implemented in reality. We'll have some permanent branches. We'll also have some feature branches for developing a feature. Once the feature is ready, we will integrate, means we'll copy those changes into the original branch and delete those draft or feature branches. For your understanding, I'm telling it as a draft. That's a lot of concept with the branching. We are going to see all of that with the real scenarios, and we will also apply them once we progress with our pipelines, once we get started with our pipelines. Got an idea? Before we go for the hands-on, this is the theoretical approach of how branching works. Any questions from anyone?
So far, so good, Priti.
Thanks, Ritesh, for confirming. How about others? Any confusions? Any point should I repeat, or anything you have? Let me know. And meanwhile, I'll just show you the commands we have used. Already I have shown you yesterday. By now, you know where to get the commands for hands-on for today. These are the things: removing a file, ignore, revert, and reset. These are the things we discussed today. Branching will start the hands-on from tomorrow. Today I have explained it theoretically. You have the commands in your drive as well as here. Hands-on is mandatory. Okay, you should be doing this lab today. It's a Git day 2, right? Yeah, this one. RM cached and so on. Revert, reset, different types of resets and all. Branching, we can get started tomorrow. I'm sharing you the quiz for today. You can also go through the quiz. Any questions, anything you have, you can feel free to ask. We have some time. This last 15 minutes is for questionnaire. So anything you have, you can feel free to go ahead. Could you please share Google Drive link? Sure, Priya, you can message Mr. Raj. He can help you with that. His number is here. Once registered, you will get access to all the portals. You can just ping him and check on for the access. I have shared the quiz. Please go through it and let me know if you have any further queries. And I'll just show, meanwhile, one small command I'll show. We have understood the concept theoretically, right? To see all the branches available, Git branch. Only one branch is available for us as of now, right? So now we have to create new branches. We have to develop parallelly. We'll see how to integrate Git branching, branching with conflicts, without conflicts, how to resolve the conflicts. All those interesting concepts are coming up. We can get started with this in the next session. And now we can utilize for any queries or any clarifications you need. And the quiz also. Go through the questionnaire. Let me know for any questions. Any other concerns, anything?
Will we be dealing with all the Git commit, revert, and reset? A couple of mixing actions when dealing with pipeline creation,
When dealing with the?
pipelines.
Okay. When dealing with the pipelines, yes, we do mostly when we are dealing with the pipelines with the commits, push and pull. Yes, see, whether you do revert in your daily life or not, it depends, right? If I want to undo something, we'll do. Otherwise, no. Revert is the same concept, file changes, that's all. So we'll not be focusing much on this revert and reset when we go for Terraform projects, but we'll use Git to version control, push the code to remote, integrate in the pipeline. That would be the focus there. Let's say, okay, when creating those files, if I did some mistake, I may do revert or I may not, but that's not the major focus when we go to Terraform. Terraform would be the major focus and managing the files with the Git would be the focus. That's all, not revert, reset. It depends. Maybe if I'm running out, ran out with some errors, I may revert or not. Only the file changes, concepts remain same. But git ignore will be used to use that sensitive files. Those important things will be covered again.
Okay.
Git dedicated classes are here where we are focusing on the minute command of Git also. When we start Terraform, yes, we use Git, but there the focus is Terraform and integrating it in the pipeline. That's the focus, right? Your focus drifts there, but we already know Git by then. So as you come across such things, we'll use it. So that's why that's another reason I'm telling you, you should do hands-on. You should master Git here itself. Only the file name changes. It is a text file. Tomorrow it's a Terraform file. Day after tomorrow it might be Kubernetes file. Later on again doing reset, reverts there will not work, right? Your focus should be learning Kubernetes at that point. So do the hands-on thoroughly, master Git here itself. Whether it is a text file or Terraform file, it doesn't make any difference. You have to thorough and thoroughly understand and master Git here in the Git sessions. We may have 2 more sessions on Git. You have to do hands-on, get thorough here. And we will implement and we may come across and we may do hands-on, but we don't again repeat, revert, reset there. Any more questions from anyone?
Kriti, actually, yesterday I could not get time to do some practice, but I just have one question. I mean, see, after the installation and everything, do I need to set up any repository? I mean, with respect to, I mean, if you consider the overall architecture, right? Do I need to set up any final repository wherein I will store the?
Not set up the remote yet, Ritesh. You don't need it now. Just create local repo. How do we do that? Git init. That's all. We did not set up remote yet. We will go there. But before going to that remote, we have to learn many things. That's what we were focusing. See, we will go step by step, like in a structured way. Because we need to cover remote, don't jump and let's create remote now. Where is the use case? We were developing some files here. We did not get our use case to push to remote, right? So we'll go it with us in a structured way. Like once our project is ready, okay, then I want to share it with others. That's where remote comes in. So yeah, we
Perfect.
created it.
Thanks.
Also, one more thing I would like to tell you, I have walked you through the course content in the day one, right? Some of you might be wondering, like, okay, is it that, okay, let's say, okay, let me go to the, there is something like, particularly this part I want to talk about AWS. We see AWS concepts here, list of AWS topics, particularly for AWS. Almost for any tool it's the case, and it's more particular for AWS. This one. So here it says create an account, IAM users, regions, availability zone, VPC, load balancers, ECR. It's not that, okay, we are beginning AWS now, let's complete it here. No, that's not how AWS is covered. AWS will be is spread across the course, meaning after learning Git, we will go to AWS, create an AWS account, and we will create this EC2 because that's the requirement. Why, you will understand. We need a Jenkins server, so we'll create EC2. And then we learn Jenkins and we progress that way. Then later on, once we go to Terraform, we need S3 service to store those sensitive files. Then we will learn S3. And then in Kubernetes, to give permissions, I need IAM roles. Then we will learn it. Means AWS course is spread across, and we will learn them as per the requirement. It's not just because, okay, start chapter 13, finish it, go to chapter 14. That's not how we cover. Majority of the topics is the same. Of course, Git we were learning here because, yeah, that's to the context. Basically, it's like context-based, scenario-based. Even Linux, okay, after Git actually we'll start Linux and we will go through them. But it's not that complete Linux is completed here. Again, Linux is spread throughout the course. We will be using some new commands throughout as and when we need it. And that's more relevant, whatever I explained for AWS. It's not we complete each topic one by one. As per the use case, we cover this AWS. It's spread across the course. And like I mentioned, on the day one here, the topics are brief listed. You might be having a question, I don't see here reset, or else only reset is there. Will we cover all of, see, if you see here Git reset, we have covered soft, mixed, and hard, right? Same is the case with anything. Like if you see what you can relate here, right? Installation, Git commands means what commands? We have done lot many things. I can't just put all of that in this course content, right? But yeah, I know people coming to me saying that, okay, I see lot of content there, 2 pages content here, only 1 page content. See, it all about how do you represent. I don't want to represent the course content in the lengthy way to just make it huge, right? Git commands are where whatever we have covered, git ignore we covered, git diff we covered, git diff stage we covered. Lot many things comes under git commands. I just don't want to expand the course content just for the presentation purpose. But this is how the course is. I believe you might have got some idea on how the course goes by these 2 days. So you might have got some understanding. So check your understanding levels, check your hands-on, how well you can do, how well you are syncing with me, and then you can go ahead with the next steps. So if you have completed the quiz, please submit the quiz. We'll also get the scores. You also please check the right answers, retake the quiz from your end. You will get access to those portals for you to retake. Watch the recording and do retake again. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, actually, is Python must for this course?
Python is not mandatory for DevOps. Okay, it's another scripting tool which can help in automating certain tasks, but it's not mandatory. If you see some job descriptions where Python is mandatory, that's not your role. You people with Python development skills, who have Python development skills, if they have development experience, they should apply for it. DevOps projects, Python is not mandatory for DevOps. Till now, I haven't used Python in any of my projects. So it's not, that's again a myth. Okay, Python is mandatory. Everyone in DevOps uses Python. That's not the case. You see, there were, let's say, 100 job descriptions are there. Don't think all the 100 suits you. Choose what you want. Let's say, okay, you are from development background, you are a .NET developer, or else you are a Python developer. There, DevOps with Python role is there. Then it's for you. Let's say you see some DevOps role where Python is the major part, or else I hear about this also. Shell script is mandatory, is the core shell scripting is needed. That's not actually a DevOps role. They are looking for Linux admin with the scripting skills. So what you want to become, you have to focus. Let's say, okay, you are an admin, you are a developer, you are having previous knowledge of development and admin part. You want to dive into DevOps, then you know that shell scripting and Python, you can go ahead. But not all job descriptions are as such. You might be completely a person from ops, you are not into, let's say, you are not into admin part, you are not into scripting part. Still DevOps roles are DevOps roles where Docker is priority, or else DevOps role where you need a Kubernetes expertise, or DevOps role where Terraform is the core area they were looking for. They are looking for people with Terraform skills. That's where you are for. That's where this course is for. Am I making sense?
Yes, but is there any automation covered in the course? I want to know.
Of course, right? All this is automation. We use Terraform, Kubernetes, Docker to automate the deployment, CI/CD pipelines with the Jenkins file, where the complete CI/CD pipelines are automated.
Yeah, during that for automation, do we need to learn any languages or that is my concern, one more concern.
We don't use any languages to automate that. We use Terraform config files. That's not coding, right? And we use the CI/CD pipelines in Jenkins with a Jenkins file. That's where with a Jenkins file we automate it.
Oh, okay.
Like I already mentioned, we automate the whole process, but it doesn't mean that to automate this, you need Python or shell scripting. They are a part of it. Some projects may be using it a little bit, but projects where they were entirely dependent on Python and shell scripting, they are looking for those guys. That's not a DevOps role. Here the focus is look for job descriptions where they need Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Ansible, where they want to work on CI/CD pipelines with the Jenkins. This is the DevOps. That's the focus of this course. Those are the job descriptions which suits us. If you want to go for Python also, spend another 6 months, learn Python, then you can apply for those roles. That's a separate category. So that's all from my end, and anything you have, you can reach out to me or Mr. Raj, and see you all tomorrow at the same time in the class, and you'll get the recording, go through it and get started with your hands-on. Thank you all. Good day. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.